So I'm currently driving a 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe Ultimate. This is a 7-passenger SUV made by Hyundai, and it's been around for a long time, but they have changed the styling starting at the 2014 year. And my wife actually drives this car around to, drive my kids around. But I really enjoy driving this car because it is a beautiful car. What I like to do is I want to give you a perspective on what it is to own a car, to be an owner of this car after like 5 months of owning it. So I tend to compare this car to a luxury SUV, and the reason for that is because I think everything about this car is pretty luxurious, except for maybe the badge, the Hyundai badge. Now, if you look at like major car makers such as Honda or Toyotas, they always have a luxury brand, and those are like Acuras and Lexus, and Nissan has Infiniti. Hyundai is starting their own Lexus brand, which is called the Genesis. But at the present, the only thing that the Genesis offer is basically the sedan, the luxury sedan, the G80, the G90. Now, I think that the Hyundai Santa Fe is built like a luxury SUV. It is just not considered a luxury SUV, but it has all the amenities to make it fit into that category. Well, let's start with this. Every time you buy a car, you look to buy an SUV, the one thing that hopefully you look for is the safety features, and perhaps its crash prevention system and how well it holds up during a crash. Now, what I can tell you is that the Santa Fe is one of the safest cars that you can buy. Based on the rating of the IIHS, they rate the Santa Fe as a top safety pick plus for 2017. Now, to earn a top safety pick plus, they have a lot of criteria that a car has to pass, and the Santa Fe superbly pass all those criteria, including the headlight has to be visible enough, especially during nighttime. Now, the only other cars that falls into that category, there's not that many luxury cars that fall into that category, but the cars that do fall into a top safety pick are the QX60, the MDX, the GLE by Mercedes. So as you can see, it's very prestigious for the Hyundai Santa Fe to actually be fallen into that category. The BMW X5, which is there are some variant. There's a version that has 7-seater. It doesn't even fall into the top safety pick plus as being one of the safest luxury SUVs. And so it is awesome for the Santa Fe to be up in that ranking. Another thing you look for in a luxury SUV is, of course, its quality, the quality of the cabin. Now, that's one of the things I also look for when I search for this SUV, is to identify the one that has the quietest cabin. The Santa Fe has one of the quietest cabins of any SUVs out there, including luxury SUVs. There are sound dampers around the car's body. You can actually visibly see that, and that's one of the reasons how it kept the car so quiet. And that's what you expect to see in luxury cars. You expect the interior to be very quiet. You get this serenity feeling, and you can replicate that with the interior of the Santa Fe. And so I really appreciate that, being in a car that's really quiet, because at the end of your workday, the last thing you want to do is drive home in a lousy car. And especially if you're hauling your kids around, you want it to be comfortable for your kids. And I think this Santa Fe really delivers that, because it is again built like a luxury, although the price doesn't feel like it's a luxury car. Other things that to note is luxury cars tend to be pretty powerful. It tends to perform very well, and so does the Santa Fe. You're looking at a 3.3 liter V6 that outputs 290 horsepower, and is mated with a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, just to give you a perspective, luxury cars in that same category includes the MDX, which has 290 horsepower, and also the QX60, which has a 295 horsepower. In terms of having enough power for the car, 290 horsepower is adequate. So it's the amount of power you're getting in the Santa Fe is equivalent to the amount of power that you would get in a luxury car. And the 6-speed automatic transmission is also another thing to note. Now, this is one of the smoothest transmission I have ever driven in any cars, including, we're talking about luxury cars. And so I feel like the 6-speed automatic transmission, even though it doesn't help too much with fuel consumption, but it is one of the best for any cars, including new cars. Current new cars are coming out with like 8-speed automatic transmission, and there are ones with 10-speed automatic transmission, but at the end of the day, the 6-speed is the one that I feel is pretty adequate, and it's the one that's really best in terms of comfort and power and maybe reliability as well. So I appreciate that. Having a 6-speed is awesome. I don't think we need an 8-speed. Now, gas consumption wise, it's about 17 miles per gallon in the city and about 23/24 miles per gallon on the highway. And so compare that to an 8-speed, you're gaining about 2 miles per gallon in the city and about 2 miles or 3 miles per gallon on the highway. So yes, you do sacrifice a little bit on fuel economy. Luxury cars tend to have the most up-to-date technology, including emergency braking system, lane departure warning, and all this cool stuff. The Santa Fe has all of that. Okay, so let me give you a list of what it has. First, blind spot detection. This helps you when you're changing lane. Emergency braking system. So let's say if you're drowsy, or let's say the car ahead of you is making a sudden stop and you're unable to react in time, well, the car will react for you and it will warn you, and if you're not reacting, then it will stop for you. Pedestrian detection. So if it detects pedestrian, it will stop. The car will stop automatically. 360-degree cameras, lane change assist, adaptive cruise control, auto hold. That's also another cool features, and 360-degree cameras. So as you can see, this car is packed with technologies. Now, and by the way, these are just not technologies that are present, and they're not as useful as, you know, as luxury cars. These are technology, and these are really high-end technologies that are built highest quality. So their adaptive cruise control will work really well. I had a chance to test it out, some of these cool features, and the 3 that I like the most and the 3 that I use frequently is the blind spot detection. That's very useful for changing lane, the adaptive cruise control, and also the auto hold. Now, these are cool features, and they're especially important during rush traffic, or when there's when you're moving in a traffic jam on the freeway. By activating adaptive cruise control, the car will actually control the speed for you. So say if the car in front of you is slowing down, then your car will slow down, and if the car in front of you speeds up, then your car will speed up for you. So the only thing that I would say, the only technology that isn't in a Santa Fe that is visible in like high-end luxury cars would be, you know, self-parking, where the car will park itself for you, or say head-up display. I don't see a head-up display as one of the options in the Santa Fe. So those are the only few that were left out. And also, actually, one more thing that were left out in this car, and that's the steer assist, which allows the steering wheel to steer a little bit for you if you are drifting out of your lane. And so besides those 3, every technology that you see in a luxury car is available in this car at a very affordable price. Now, before we go on further and talk about maybe price comparison, their infotainment system is also a second to none system. There are two LCD screens in this car. There's a driver display, which lies right here, and then there's also a infotainment system, which lies right there. Now, the graphic is beautiful. The display is bright, high definition display, and it's extremely responsive. There's virtually no lags. If you want to switch from one station to the next or one option to the next, it will do that in a near instant. Other things to note is that it does come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Those 2 features that connects to your smartphone are usually available only in luxury cars, but now it's becoming like an option in lower end cars, so it's becoming more standard now. But it's available in this car, and all your connectivity is there. You can also connect your infotainment system to a Wi-Fi, to your home's network or to your phone's network, so that you can take advantage of one of the apps in this car. The interior is spacious, is extremely roomy. The buttons, to be completely honest with you, the buttons do not feel like it's supremely luxurious, but it's adequate. It's above average. I think these are pretty high quality buttons. Of course, if you step into Mercedes and compare the interior, of course the Mercedes will definitely have an edge, right? But you're paying a lot more. You're paying maybe 2 to 3 times the price of the Santa Fe. But every buttons is pretty nice layout. I think the qualities of the button are very high quality. They're not like super luxurious quality like I mentioned before, but everything's pretty awesome. A lot of room for the second row and the third row, and they have a lot of options for you to connect to charge your phones, to charge your mobile devices in the third row. There's also a temperature control in the third row as well. And so I think this car overall, this car is well built, it's well designed. Again, what I like to compare this car with is, I think it's the comfort of a Lexus, but the performance of like a BMW, and I think that's what you can use to describe the Santa Fe. So overall, if you are in the market for one of these, make sure you check out the Santa Fe, because at the decked out level, the MSRP is about $42,000. That means you're getting everything for $42,000 MSRP. However, if you negotiate the price, you can probably get it for $37,000, and if you're really good, then maybe $36,000 for a Santa Fe that is fully loaded. You compare that to like maybe like a Lexus that's fully loaded, a QX60 that's fully loaded, an MDX that's fully loaded. That's about $70,000. So I think of it as a very cheap luxury SUV. I think it is. All right. Well, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment below. If I missed out on something, please feel free to let me know. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you, and I'll talk to you in the next video.